So I'm Fabien Guillot, I'm technical marketing engineer at Vectra. I've been working in the security industry for 15 years in different roles, from consultants to a couple of security vendors. I've been the last 3.5 years at Vectra. And if you like to ask questions or to connect, just feel free to reach out on LinkedIn or by email. So there is one constant in security is action more. And what does it mean? First is more attack surface. And the perimeter is long gone. There is an explosion the last couple of years into remote workers. There is every company out there that are using more and more SaaS applications. There is rapid cloud adoption, multi-cloud, hybrid cloud. All those things just expand in a very big way the attack surface we are facing today. The other thing is about more evasive attackers. Attackers are more and more stealthy, at least APT groups. They will often use living off the land techniques to be as stealthy as possible, and they will often hide in the unknown, I would say, something which is not very well monitored, as well as something which is trusted. This leads to actually get more tools to be able to cover this wide area of attack surface, and which also mean more data to be collected, more logs to be not only collected but as well analyzed. More tools also lead to more rules. It could be rules, security rules out of the security solution deployed in the environment, as well as rules created by the SOC analyst to cover those new threats. All those rules need to require skills and require tuning and to be maintained. This leads directly to the next item, which is more noise. The more rules you have, you may have more noise. How you deal with the noise, how you deal with the amount of rules you have to deal with, to face, and to kind of really have some burnout. So the more is something consistent, there's more time needed to cover all that. There's more complexity, more cost. So the problem we are all facing is we don't know, or a lot of companies are facing, or most of the companies are facing, is we don't know where we are compromised right now, and we don't know if we are compromised right now. And this is really what we try to solve at Vectra. Spoiler alert, attacker always find a way in, or attacker always find more ways in. And we really have the mindset of assume compromise, or really want to educate on that mindset that everyone can be compromised. What you don't want is that it lead to a breach. And there is a quote I really like, but it's not displaying very well. It's a quote from the SOC Institute. Prevention is ideal, but detection is a must. And the two components play a very important role. Only in Q1 2022 alone, it was more than 8,000 vulnerability published. 62%, this is the number coming from CrowdStrike, and 62% of the attack comprise normalware and some keyboard activity, meaning more advanced APT group. System intrusion doubled from 20 to 40% of reported incidents between 2020 and 2021. Other interesting number coming from Verizon is the compromised credential accounted for 40% of data breach. Something really also important is cloud-based breaches accounting for 45% of the breaches. And most of the time you don't have as many tools covering attack on the cloud that you have on your premises. another interesting number from the rise of Vectra actually published last December. 83% of security leaders we interview lack confidence in their tech to actually detect modern threat. So based on all that, is like how security deserves a better approach to threat detection and response, and that's what we trying to accomplish here at Vectra. So let's look at what's the approach of Vectra and how Vectra tend to erase the unknown, or how to be able to detect what you don't know actually. So the first piece is actually to get the visibility across all attack surface. So attack surface means identity, SaaS application, public cloud, network, as well as endpoint like infrastructure in your environment. Once you have the visibility across your attack surface, then the ability to build behavior-based detection to target technique and tactical procedures and having high quality detection is also key. And we will come to that after in a couple of slides. Then threat context at every stage of the attack. Not only gather context for our detection to have better accuracy, but as well providing context to the analyst for the investigation. The attack path progression really to expose in detail how an attack is progression. And it's very common that an attack can start on the network, move to Microsoft 365, or maybe start in the cloud and move to on-premises. The goal is to really, whatever the surface is or where the attacker is moving, we can track him on all this stuff. And finally, the accurate signal. How we can give to our customer the best signal possible to really focus on what matters. So attacker behavior correlated across domain and throughout the kill chain. That's the goal of Vectra. And for that, we're looking at three different things. So first, the coverage. I already mentioned that. That's really important that you get visibility across all the attack surface. Cloud, SaaS, identity, network, and throughout integration, such as the one we have with CrowdStrike, extend that to the endpoint as well. Once you have that visibility, the next step is the clarity, right? And this is having the right signal to provide to the analyst. So for us, it's three different components that I'm going to explain deeper in the next slide. Is the ability to build AI models, high fidelity, low noise. The second piece is to be able to use AI also to triage, to be able to help out the analyst to triage what's benign versus malicious. And the third piece is also to use AI to drive prioritization, what really matters, and I will come to that, but this is the third important piece. And finally, control. And control is really the response aspect of threat detection and response. Controls mean how you investigate and how you react. And react through automated workflow and targeted response to be able to block a threat before it becomes a breach. On the other side of the spectrum, services. So Vectra also offer managed detection and response to bring some additional resources to defend your network with the skill set required to use the Vectra technology. So let's drill down on the first item, which is the coverage. The coverage include public cloud. So Vectra we started looking at packet. This is where we come from, but we really move into other area. And one of the areas we move to is to the ability to look for cloud-native attack and control plane attack on AWS or Azure. And it's the ability to go deeper than the tool provided by the cloud service provider, and with like more building native capability to detect those threats. The second thing, pillar is SaaS application. And where we started is to build deep understanding and detection for Microsoft 365. That's probably the one application which is adopted the most. And the native Microsoft tools are lacking in terms of advanced detection, I would say. It's mostly signatures like anomaly, and we really take the same approach we have been doing in network, but on Microsoft 365. So gathering all the logs we can, starting to build models to find out attacker in them, evolving into your Microsoft 365 environment. The third piece is identity. And here we started with Active Directory a long time ago, but also moved to Azure AD, and providing also additional coverage and capabilities that the native tools Microsoft offer. Then the next piece is the network, being able to cover not only the on-prem network, but also cover the cloud network. So where there is packets, where something is connected to your network through as an IP addresses, we are collecting that traffic, we are expecting that traffic, we build models to be able to detect attacker evolving within your environment using a network traffic. And so ability to look at the traffic not only on-prem or virtual like VMware, Hyper-V, KVM, Nutanix, but as well cloud. So AWS sensors, Azure sensor, GCP sensors. Last piece, the endpoint. There is very strong signal and capabilities you can have on the endpoint. It's a very important piece of the puzzle. For that, we leverage integration with EDR solutions such as CrowdStrike, and we do a very tight integration together. The clarity with Attack Signal Intelligence. What does it mean? For those who don't know very well Vectra has been here for more than 10 years, and from the beginning, we have been building detection with leveraging our security researchers as well as data scientists to build very AI models to be able to detect attacker behavior. So what differentiates us versus a lot of our competitors is we really use purpose-built models and algorithms, very highly specialized, to be able to catch a certain behavior. So for each detection we are building, we will really look at the best approach and the best model, an AI model to use to be able to detect that specific behavior. And sometimes it can be one type of technology or one type of AI, sometimes it's two different types of AI to be able to provide that coverage. Then, as I touched earlier, it has three different components. First, detection. We don't use any type of signatures, we don't do a simple anomaly detection, it's all behavior based. So what it means is we build a model based on the behavior of what the attack should look like, and no matter what tools you're actually using to perform the attack, it should be covered by our model. So the example of, for example, a command and control tunnel, it doesn't look at a certain tool. It can be something which is not even released or not publicly released. Our model will be able to detect this beacon, even if it's not encrypted or not. So really try to best the best of breed detection capabilities. Then we also use AI to triage. And triage is the ability to automatically, on your behalf, be able to detect what's benign and what's malicious. So we're continuously looking at detection, we're continuously looking at commonalities, and then we take the same steps that the analyst will do to be able to differentiate what is actually benign and what is malicious. And automatically we triage out and make just less alert by removing what's benign. And third is the prioritization, and that's key. When you use a Vectra platform, you never look at individual detection, right? Every detection will have a score, a threat score based on how dangerous it is, and a certainty score based on how certain we are that this behavior is exposed. And as we're using AI, this is not binary, it's not 0 or 1, it evolved. So we really try to keep changing this score. But when we track on the network all different entities, could be host or account, each entity gets assigned a score based on the individual detection we see. So if the host gets assigned 10 different detections, we really compute, the Vectra platform will compute a score to prioritize that host based on all the detection we have seen, all the different behavior. And that's really what we prioritize in the platform and what we will tell you what to look in priority, what needs to be investigated right now. So the Vectra platform is composed of the coverage of the cloud, SaaS, identity and network, as I explained, and in extension to that, the coverage to endpoint, be able to kind of gather context from the endpoints with technology like CrowdStrike, and we'll come to that integration right now because I'm running a bit out of time. So XDR. So how do we integrate with CrowdStrike, and what does integration look like? First, having the signal from the endpoint itself and the signal from the network is very, very powerful, right? So we can use and augment that signal using not only what's the detection you have on the endpoint, but what you also have on the network, and correlate those two together. That's the first very key integration between our two platforms. Then it's the context, the ability for us to just pull context from CrowdStrike and show it on our UI. The context from the endpoint itself mixed with the context you can have from the network standpoint is a very strong integration. The ability to isolate a host. So imagine we prioritize that a host is being compromised and you have to take action right now. It could be automatic or manually. We can just ask a CrowdStrike to isolate that host, quarantine it until the incident is solved. And one of the key pieces of networking plus EDR and what they are so complementary to each other is the network doesn't have blind spots. The network, you place sensors. We want to see 100% of the host in your environment. It doesn't matter if they have endpoint or not. We will see the traffic and we will apply the same detection model to everyone. From the cloud detection and response standpoint, we complement as well the CrowdStrike offering. We will provide continuous monitoring to the environments through collecting not only packets but also logs from the cloud service provider to be able to detect attack ongoing in your environments. So same thing, we collect the data, we have AI models, we be able to detect those attacker behavior, and we use the same technology to prioritize what needs to be investigated by the analyst. Our solutions are always very purpose-built, extremely deep into the coverage across the kill chain, and all our detection are very high fidelity and no noise. So if we put the picture together with CrowdStrike and with cloud solution they're offering, the CNAP solution, you have CNAP, CSPM, CWPP, CrowdStrike solution. On the other hand, you have Vectra, you can provide this actually continuous active threat monitoring of your environment, not only on one cloud, multi-cloud, multi-region, multi-account, but having the prevention piece as well as the active threat detection piece through Vectra is very complementary well each other.